Good afternoon and hello everyone out there. My name is Sharise Nance. I am a licensed clinical social worker, trauma specialist, and I run a private counseling practice. And I also facilitate workshops and consultations to organizations on topics such as compassion fatigue, burnout, and workplace wellness. And I just want to start by extending my condolences, and my heart truly goes out to the family and the loved ones of the employee that was found dead at their desk in the workplace. And I also want to extend my thoughts to Wells Fargo as well. And with this tragic event, it brought some systemic workplace issues back to the surface that we've been talking about for quite some time, but I'm not sure we understand the severity of these workplace issues. Maybe we do now, but I just want to talk a little bit about them and then a call to action to organizations. Let me start by saying I know that I run a couple businesses right now, but I've sat in all three seats. I've been a direct line worker, working in the field, connecting with families and individuals. I've also been in a middle management position where I've supervised direct line staff, and we know how challenging that can feel when you're in that constant tug of war between trying to advocate for your staff and also trying to appease to the things that management needs from you as an administrator. So you're wearing several hats in that middle management position. And now, as a founder and a co-owner of a company and an owner of another company, I am in that role of an executive where to some it may seem that I'm disconnected or I'm out of touch. So sitting in all three of, or let me say serving in all three of these roles gives me a unique perspective of what can happen in each role and why there is an apparent disconnect. So I want to start by talking a little bit about that disconnect that happens between the direct line employees and upper management. I could say a lack of communication and a lack of empathy. Sometimes as leaders and in upper management, we can be out of touch. I'm calling us out here. We can be so out of touch. Some of us have not done the work, have done the frontline work. Some of us have been so far removed from it that we're out of touch and we are not considering the pressure and the stressors that our staff are under trying to meet sometimes these ridiculous and unrealistic timelines. And it creates a lot of stress to individuals, and we have a lot of individuals who are under this stress from the pressured culture. It can create a toxic work environment. And while maybe you haven't experienced high turnover, and maybe you have high retention, so we get like this false sense of security that things are going well because we're retaining staff. Well, if you look around in this economy, things aren't that great. So sometimes people will stay in a place of convenience and a place of comfortability, even if the workplace is toxic, because they got to take care of their family and they got to take care of our bills. So as leaders, we are charged with constantly checking in, even if it seems like things are great, because sometimes staff are not going to speak out and say, hey, things are great. You know, this workplace is toxic. I don't feel heard. I don't feel understood. I don't feel validated. I don't feel safe working here, for fear of retaliation. So as leaders, we are charged with, if that looks like us putting out surveys, if that looks like us doing like a brief check-in at every staff meeting, because I know y'all love your meetings. So why not set aside some time to do a check-in in those staff meetings and really listen and hear what it is that they're saying, and think about how you can begin to incorporate some things into your regular practice. I understand it might not be realistic to incorporate everything that they're asking for, but at least take some things into consideration and see what you're able to do and what you're willing to do. And that's how you can come to a happy medium. And I guarantee you will begin to experience a different workplace environment. Your staff will feel more connected. You'll feel more connected because now they feel heard and they feel connected to real people who care. And guess what? For those of us who are so focused on profits, it'll probably drive your profits up by just caring about people. So there are so many other, talking points or items that I can focus on, but I really wanted to touch on that apparent disconnect. So a call to action is, what's one thing that you can do as a leader in your organization to connect or reconnect with your staff? If that's a check-in, a real check-in, not an email, hey, I just want to make sure everybody takes care of themselves, because that's a whole nother conversation. But checking in and asking people how they're really doing, and coming up with some survey, an anonymous survey to see if you can get some feedback. So I just want to thank you for taking time to tune in and listen to some of the suggestions and my take on this situation. And if you are in need of some support for your staff or your workplace, I can be reached at www.sharisenance.com, and I am here to help and support. Take care.